Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about the two different content loops that exist that were added to 2.1 Warborne of Ashes for the underground content. One of the content loops is just regular gathering. These gathering from Shadow Myconids are going to give you each of the three different kinds of resources in the game, as well as each of the different special resources that are tied to them. So for example, you're going to get both resin and wood. This is not going to give you the hearts that you need from the protein style animal in order for you to do advanced potion crafting, for example, though. But you will, on the other hand, get Myconid Essence, which is something that is required for certain crafts in the game, notably Exploding Demolishers, which is super, super good in my opinion. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk about the different PvE things that you can do down here. The first thing that you're going to see later in this video is camp clearing. Camp clearing basically means that you're going to go from little anthill to anthill where these monsters are going to be there. You're going to clear out the camp in order to summon a boss. When the boss is summoned, it's going to notify people that are nearby, so they're going to know that you're doing it. Can attract a little bit of attention. Sometimes you may opt to just clear the camp and not kill the boss and go turn in if you feel like there's a lot around. Make sure you're keeping an eye on that 0 to 5 number at the bottom to make sure that you and your friends or your group is the only one doing this content in the area you're in, or I would just move to another area. It's pretty easy to avoid combat as long as you stay on the sides of the what I would call the main highway, because you have to take a door to get in. If you take charges on every door there, basically it's going to be hard for another group to come to you. You might get ganked by like some bomber or something like that, but those things cannot really be avoided. After you kill a certain amount of stuff at these camps, you're going to fill up what is called the Warlord Rage Bar. You see it on the side of the screen over there. Once that's full, the boss is going to spawn. Okay. Generally speaking, the bosses are pretty easy. For example, the bat boss that gets summoned just puts a big line in front of him where he just flies forward. It's really easy to dodge. Shouldn't take very much difficulty for you to do this. The material that they drop is these little purple crystals that are on the ground that are allocated to your group. You're going to take all of those crystals and turn them in to one of the shops, one of the little mushroom guys that's in the middle of the area. You'll see I go back to it at the end of this video. The other thing that you can do in addition to camp clearing is you can do the events. There are multiplayer events for like 3 players and then also for like, I think 7 players. Don't quote me on that. It could be 8. The events are all pretty the same. It's mostly just kill the stuff with like a little bit of spice added in, where, for example, there's one with like a tube in the middle that you have to protect so that it'll get attacked by stuff. Some of the bigger monsters will ignore your aggro. They'll just go straight for it. You just have to save it, for example. There's one that's just like a wave of stuff to kill over and over again, and there's like one bigger monster that you have to kill, and if you kill it, eventually there's a timer, it'll just run out. You just survive. Yeah, you get loot. In those chests that you get from doing the events, you can get additional rewards like the dust that you need for the rune system. The dust comes in like 2 different types of categories, where you get like 100 dust, which I think is locked to you. Just use those, or the 200 dust. Those can be sold on the auction house. I think as of recording this video, they're like right around 300 or so for 200 dust. So if you're free to play, that's a great way to get solar bite. Also, is just farming this stuff. Once you get, I think it's 2,500 of this purple currency converted to the green egg currency, you're going to buy a bonus for earning the currency. It's a 20% bonus, and there's another 20% bonus after that that I want to say costs like 4,000 or something. It's somewhere around there. I don't actually know the number off the top of my head. But if you get both of them, that's a 40% boost to what you're bringing in, so that for the rest of you farming, you're getting more of this material. It is worth, in my opinion, doing that way efficiently if you plan on doing this content a lot. These buffs that drop on the ground, you can have one of each color. I didn't know that at the time of recording this video. The buffs that are the same color, for example, there are 2 blue ones here. They will override each other. And you want to be picky about like what buffs you're getting. So like, for example, don't get a physical buff off of the floor and rewrite the one that you're using for mana if you're a caster, for example. You're not doing physical damage as a caster. Let me pause here. So you could see here, it'll say this is for damage resistance, automatically fade out when you're leaving the underground, meaning that you can't take the buff upstairs, which makes sense. So if you're fighting down here, make sure that you do have one of these buffs. Otherwise, somebody else is going to have a pretty significant advantage over you, at least in like a one-to-one comparison kind of way. Let me just kind of skip forward here. This is just me traveling back to base. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these material and I'm going to turn them in right here to the Myconid Core Cultivator. Myconid Core Cultivator is going to convert them into this green currency that looks like a little egg that I'm talking about, that is used for two things: buying stuff off of the Mushroom Elder, right here, and the events. So in order to start an event, you need a certain amount of this currency to sort of like invest in the event. If you die, like if your whole group goes down, you fail the event, so you lose that currency. So please, do be careful if you're doing this in a group. Make sure that somebody survives, so to speak, because otherwise you're going to lose out. On the Mushroom Elder, the only other thing that I would recommend buying are runes, right? You can buy runes either for 300 of the Eclipsium, or you could buy runes with 2,500 of the green egg-looking currency, okay? I personally wouldn't spend Eclipsium on this, especially now knowing that the rune upgrade system, once you have runes, it's not going to roll over. The devs have confirmed that the upgrades for that system are going to reset at the end of the season. Keep that in mind when you're planning what you're doing with your time. And once you have runes of the same color on your character, you can't use two runes of the same color. So you could have one red one and one blue one. You could have one green one and one purple one, but you can't have a blue one and a blue one, for example, on the same character. So also make sure that you're making, smart decisions about which runes to buy and what dust you're using and this and that. You don't want to use, red, green, and then have a whole bunch of purple dust that you're not able to utilize, right? So, maybe that'll make some, waves in your decision making, so to speak. If you have any questions, guys, leave them in the comments. If you have any thing to add, maybe I missed, go ahead and write that down there too. Please like and subscribe, guys. I'm trying to grow the channel, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.